like smoked salmon and you like, yeah, the lox or gravlax, I'm going to show you such a simple recipe to prepare for lox. Lox is basically smoked, cured Atlantic salmon, and what I have here is a piece of Atlantic salmon, and it's just a little bit of salt, sugar, and I'm going to use some dill, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do it, and it's going to come out perfect for you if you enjoy doing lox, which is a cold smoked, or even gravlax, which is not smoked. But this is a beautiful, beautiful salmon recipe, and you will enjoy it. Let's start. Okay, so the process in making this is very, very simple. Basically, all you need is some plastic wrap, a container to hold it in afterwards. I'm using some dill over here. Now, the salt and sugar ratio, for me, what works is 40-60. 40% salt, 60% salt. Regardless of the size of the fish that I am doing, I always start with 1/4 cup salt and 2/3 cup sugar. And that's basically the ratio that works well for me. So I have the fillet already on top of cellophane, and all I'm going to do, I'm not going to use all this. I'm just going to use enough that I know needs to be covered. So I'm just going to sprinkle over top of the fish, give it a rub, keep mixing the salt and sugar as you go. And I'm going to put it on generously, but not, I'm not going to baste it in it. Just enough, sugar and salt on top. And it really depends on the size of that fillet that you're using too as well. And you want to make sure you get the edges in here and on the back side. Once you think you have enough on there, I'm going to put down a bed of dill on top, on the edge. Get that stem a break. Give that one a break as well. And one more piece in there. And I'm just going to press that in gently. Now I'm going to take the cellophane and I'm going to kind of flip it so the salt and sugar, I'm going to put it in so the salt and sugar rests up on the edge, and flatten that down. And same with this side. Tuck it in, flatten it down, and I'm going to pull the other side and pull this side, and that should give me enough to flip it over. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that inside a container, and I'm going to put a little bit of weight on top. Typically I have a brick that I would rest right on top of that, but but tonight I cannot find it. I don't know where it is, so I will use something else. And what I can use is just a basic a bowl, and I can add things inside to give it some weight, to make it, press down on the fillet. But typically, a hard object would work, but today that will do the job. Now we're going to stop here, and this needs to stay in the fridge for 48 hours, 2 days. So every 12 hours, I'm going to flip it. And then after 2 days, it's going to get ready for smoking. Okay, so we're going to let it sit in the fridge, and then we'll see what happens when we do the smoking. Okay, so while I have the salmon preparing in the fridge, I'm going to get my wood chips ready to go. Typically, I use the pellets, and I find that when I'm using the spiral-shaped smoke generator, pellets don't really do a good job. They often go out, and I don't get a good burn. So what I like to do with the pellets is I like to break it down, and to do so, I just put in some hot water into the pellets, and that is going to make them break apart. They're going to absorb the water and dissolve into sawdust again. So I just let that sit there for a bit, and once it's all dissolved, what I will do is I will put this onto a cookie sheet and let it sit outside and dry out. Now before I actually begin smoking, I will take a bunch of this and put it onto a baking sheet and throw it inside the oven at a very low temperature to get it really dry. And I find that helps with the smoking a lot. It tends to bring out that unique dryness that's needed for the smoking process. So we'll just let the fish finish off, and then we'll do some smoking. Okay, so now I am all ready to start smoking. You can see my salmon is looking pretty good. It's sticky on top, so that 14 to 16 hours sit in the fridge did its job. So I have my dried pellets that I broke into dust, and I put in the oven and got them ready to go. So this is my my smoke generator. So basically I'm just going to fill this up with these dry pellets. You don't want to overfill, because what will happen is once it starts burning, if it's overfilled, it's going to jump, and you'll have all your chips burnt up rather quickly. I'm using apple. I prefer apple. Hickory has a bit of a stronger smoke smell to it. Apple is a mild smoke. Cherry is also good. We're almost ready to go here. And just basically run your fingers over it, making sure that there's nothing touching the other side. Need a bit more in here. All the rings are exposed. Okay, we're good to go. A bit more up here to start it. So what I like to use is just a torch, and I'm going to get the fire in underneath. You're going to burn it for about 30 seconds or so, until you get a good flame. Catch the top. You want to have ambers, so you need a good bed of ambers to start your smoking process. So just let that flame go for a bit. Give it a gentle blow. Okay, I think we're ready to go here. I'm using just a barbecue. It's perfect for this kind of a setup. And I'm just going to close the lid on it. There's enough gaps in it that smoke's going to escape. You don't want to overpower your fish when you're smoking it. You just want a gentle smoke. Anything more than this, you're going to over smoke it, and it's not going to be enjoyable to eat. So I'm going to move this over here to one side. I have my salmon over here on the other side, and I'm going to close the lid. And we are going to, I'm just going to use a spoon here just to keep a bit more of a circulation in there, and that is basically all we're going to do. All right, so here we are. We have about 10 hours of smoking, and it's looking really nice. It smells amazing. I'm going to put this inside a Ziploc bag overnight, and we are going to have us a smoked salmon with bagel, and you can pretty much put anything you want on it. I like to put some onion and capers, and of course you got to have the cream cheese. You could also use Dijon mustard or the Keen's hot mustard if you like it a little more spicy. It is going to be amazing. Now I need to specify that I use what's called a gravlax recipe, and it didn't need smoking in order to consume it. The smoking process actually turns it into what's called a lox. However, lox is typically or originally made with the belly of the salmon. So this is very similar to the lox that you would get, the Norwegian style. In any event, it's gravlax, it's smoked, it's lox, it's smoked salmon, cold smoked, 10 to 12 hours, and it's going to be yummy. So stay tuned to the next video, and I hope to have something else to entertain you with. Bye for now.